Oh, hey folks, it's Babbaginator. We're here in the long dark. We are day 38 of this tournament run. 12 days left. Trying to make ends meet. Windy out there. Hello? No. Mic is on.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Okay. Bear is coming. Where can I get to? The bear can't get me.
I barely walk with this much gear.
Where are you? What is going all over the place? Wow.
Jesus, this is cold.
It's gonna come back? It's coming back.
This is so cold. I just want to lay down for a bit.
try this time. Oh. Man. Missed so many shots at that. It's so terrible. Where is he? It's gotta be right here. Finally. So annoying. I don't know, we'll refine the other arrow we shot. Good shot though. Yay. He's a big bear. Ordinarily we'd sit around and carve him up, but it's not what we're doing today. Okay, that's a bear. Four bears. So let's see, 25 is 3, 213. So 213. Okay. Broke 200. Let's see what's going on down here. Hey, Bavala, welcome in. Yeah, we just we took a few shots and missed, but we finally got the bear, and it went down in one shot. Well, other than all my misses. So. We're gonna see if we can find the other bear down here. Yeah, it's normally there are other tricks I would use, but the kind of Spider-Man shot is pretty much your best bet if you have like restrictions. Like this tournament has restrictions where you can't use campfires to hide behind when you're dealing with wolves and other predators. I don't hear the bear. Not seeing tracks. Is the bear sleeping? Middle of the day? Let's see if there's bones in there or not. The bear is definitely in here. He's sleeping. Okay, this could be really dumb. What's our best bet? I mean, is he going to wake up or not? Do we hunt the sleeping bear? Or do we play it safe? One approach is to do the, we're kind of hurting a little bit here. We're not at full health, so I'm a little hesitant about trying to do this and gain mauled, because we're heavy right now. Let's see here. How are we doing on days? We're at 38. And some birch bark tea. Yeah, if I was at full health, I would do it. How good is our... Let's see. Archery 4. Okay. We're going to chicken out. I think we're going to go, we'll rest in the barn for a little bit until we can recover some health, and then we'll go back and hunt the bear. We're so close to the end of this tournament run, I just don't want to do something stupid. At the very least, we can lighten our load, like by dropping stuff up there. And then come back lighter and try it. But being burdened and trying to do the bear hunt seems like a bad idea. It's different if the bear is up. We I can find a good car to hunt from.
I'll die if I don't get some food soon.
Of course, it might be that we can get multiple shots off before the bear gets us. I don't know. We're kind of injured. Don't have a lot of cloth for repairs or bandages. I think it's a bad idea. I think we rest. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I'm still smarting from another tournament run I had where I got to about 45 days out of the 50 I was supposed to do, and I blew it because I went on a cougar hunt and was not properly prepared. It's really sad to lose your run, and it was a good run. It was a really good run. And we lost it on day 46, 4 days from the finish line. This is not a good run. This is a pretty terrible run, but I don't really have time to do much else. So finish it, and then we'll try something. And then we might try again. Let's see here. Yeah, it was a very dumb hunt. I was in Ash Canyon. I had scouted out a location on a previous practice run. You know, if you come down from the gold mine and you're like hugging the wall, you can get into a position where you're theoretically out of reach of the cougar and could do a hunt from the side of the wall. I thought I had found my way back to the location I had scouted, and so I took the shot on the cougar, only to realize, to my horror, I was actually not in the right spot. I was in a spot where there was still a path to me, and the cougar just charged right up the hill, hit me, and oh, we're so close. I forgot to check for that hole, and I walked right through the hole. Yeah, we forgot to make certain we were completely ungettable, and the cougar just mauled me, and I died overnight trying to tend to my wounds because I slept for 3 hours. And then I was fine, and then when I tried to sleep for 4 hours, I died overnight. Then I didn't have enough bandages, I didn't have any birch bark tea, so I was just losing health, and I was already like almost gone. So it was not a happy day.
I'll take it.
You take that. There is a hole there that's not supposed to be there, but Maybe a bad idea, but see if the bear is up.
I can barely walk with this much gear. My stomach feels like an empty pit.
Much too cold. And too windy. Is getting too heavy to carry. Always over there.
Oh, so cold. The sun is setting. It's gonna get a lot colder soon. I think I can use this. I am not gonna be able to carry this load for much longer.
Oh. No. No. Ooh. Yep.
This will come in handy.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Okay, we still haven't been down to the basement. We'll do that, I think, after we sleep. Well, it's Friday night. Here we are, just us and Astrid hanging out in the Pleasant Valley farmhouse. Probably shouldn't go skip. Am I into the Wintermute side of things at all? I played through all the available episodes. I mean, I'm interested in the story, but my heart's really in the survival mode. Let's see. Yeah, our current challenge right now is we're doing this tournament called Furry Then Silence 2.0, which is basically a lot of hunting. So this is a community tournament thing. And I don't know. It's been fun. It's been hard. Like, among the things you can't do, you can't use the flare gun. You can't use... you can't hunt rabbits or ptarmigan with stones, and you can't use campfires to hide behind if you're dealing with wolves or bears. So it's or the cougar. So you'll have to basically face them head on, or find like a good perch somewhere where you can shoot them and not be attacked. So, and this is a little bit about me. Yeah, I've been playing since pre-release 2017. So I just looked at my hours earlier today, and I'm like at 3,700, almost 3,800 hours in the game. Almost all of that is survival. I have about 700 hours in Stalker. And about, whatever, it's probably like 30 or 40 hours in the main game, in the Wintermute. I don't know, whatever it is. I've played through the first couple episodes a few times, and then finally buckled down and decided to do a playthrough to the end of the episodes that we have. And so I'm looking forward to the next episode. But I mean, long term, what keeps me in the game is survival. Okay, what can we do? Well, that's really rough. I guess what we could do, we did get cloth, right? Yeah, we got cloth. But we can't do repairs, so we have to wait.
Oh, I've never been so hungry in my life. I'm so hungry.
We'll just have our soup, get it out of the way.
My stomach is eating itself.
Okay, we're gonna dump some of this water since we don't need all of it. Okay, let's see if the bear's out there.
I can barely walk with this much gear. Come on, little fire.
Okay.
Perfect. Is getting too heavy to carry.
This is the best way to use stuff that's rancid, like the flour and the maple syrup. You don't have to worry about anything. All it cares about is the ingredient, not the condition. Yep.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load.
Okay, get rid of spammers and scammers. Ooh, there's a wolf out there. Let's see if we can pull the wolf and get some extra points here. Uh-oh. Wind is changing. Okay. Get ready, folks. There we go. Smack. Another wolf. 21 wolves. That is plus another 5, so 218. We are on day 39. Same sort of in-game count going here. 21. And 5. 18. Yeah. Thanks.
I can't feel my feet.
Okay, we still need to explore the basement.
Damn, I'm freezing. I can barely walk with this much gear.
Nope. Too heavy. Just drop our other one. Ooh.
This stuff will come in handy.
Okay, let's see. What do we need and not need? Do we need all these? No, we don't. Hey, roller. Yeah, we got a bear earlier on this stream. And then we almost took a pot shot at a sleeping bear in a cave, but we were pretty frostbitten at that. Well, we were pretty cold, a lot of cold damage. And I was like, if it wakes up and charges me, I don't know if I'll survive the mauling. So I think they just do a percentage, but still, it would be a rough recovery. So we opted for leaving that bear and then going back to him later.
Is getting too heavy.
Okay, let's see what we can drop. At this point, I don't think these are going to make any difference, so let's just get rid of them. We get rid of this. How you doing, Roller? The big news for me is, let's see, when was I last on stream? Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. So I think I told you I have, next week I'm going in for an interview on campus. That's good news. But I also found out that so a number of things have happened since then. It looks like I will be moving out sooner than expected. So I'm going to have to move at the end of January. And I don't know yet if that move is to Toronto or to Saskatchewan.
Carry this load for much longer.
So you'll get me this week. No, what's left of this week. You'll get me maybe, depending if I'm caught up on preparing my presentation. Well, it looks pretty bad out there. I think we're waiting. So let's see, I am gone the 11th to 13th, so no streams on any of those days. I am flying on the 17th. And then from the 18th to the 30th or 31st, I am in, I'm not certain how much time I'll get to stream because I'm packing up my personal library back home and just generally downsizing stuff, helping my mother get ready for, she wants to sell the house, so and most likely when she sells, I will already have moved to Toronto. And then she's planning to join me, but if things go well, I will be working already at that point. Oh, there's no herbal tea.
barely
Yeah,
bought
so I
Christmas
just
week.
need to have everything boxed up and ready to be loaded. There's a lot of downsizing that'll have to happen. I have a lot of like D&D related stuff that I don't know. It's just going to go into storage, or if I'm going to just try to find someone else who's interested. I might, there's a couple places I could donate to that would take D&D stuff. But yeah, so I think like December is going to be really spotty for streams. So I like if this tournament run fails, I'm not getting in a tournament run at all then. And then in January I'll be back, but I'll be primarily focused on like again selling off or getting rid of most of the furniture here and downsizing my other stuff, because I have to fit whatever's left. Whatever I don't take back for Christmas, I'm going to have to fit into my car. And that's going to be a challenge. Or I'm going to have to ship. I may end up having to ship some boxes back to Saskatchewan, which is not ideal, but maybe the best solution. If I ship, then I'll probably want to ship the light things and not the heavy things. Yeah, so streaming's going to be a little bit all over the place. Let's see. We don't need that anymore. Let's see if we can do. We don't have any leather. Let's do this one then. When I'm home, I do have my old gaming rig still at home, and I might be able to stream. I think I can get a mic set up for that. Or it might be micless. What's my stream like if I'm not talking? I don't know. People like me talking, so so I will try to figure out how to do that. I think I have like a whatchamacallit, like a lapel mic that I haven't used before, and I can try that out. Because those don't take up a lot of space. But yeah, my hope is that I will know what my situation is, my job situation is, by the end of December. If I have an offer, then I'll probably take it, and it will probably require me to move right at the end of January or the beginning of February, which is like a terrible time to do a cross-country move, but it may be the only thing I can do. I'll just have to, okay, take care, Baba. Yeah. So I might have to do, I don't know, driving across at the end of January or the beginning of February. It's like some of the worst weather in Canada. If I don't get the job, then I think I go back to Saskatchewan, and we'll wait until the end of winter and then, sell up and pack up and move out to Toronto. And I'll still be looking for work, but there's just more work options out there. Ooh, spooky. Guess not a streamer, but thanks for joining us nonetheless.
I could eat a horse.
Well, yeah, one of the things I've discovered was my original plan was we were supposed to take over my aunt's condo in Scarborough, which was supposed to be kind of like a, I don't know, my aunt was planning on going to this potato. Planning on going back to Taiwan, but changed her mind. So we just found out she does not want to move back, which means the original plan, where she was going to just rent it to us for a relatively cheap price, not going to happen. So now I have to figure out my own housing. So apparently the one thing that is promising is that storage is cheap. Actually, I should look at that. Well, these websites are not terribly helpful.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Okay, what do we got out here? Kind of gusty again. Anyways, I think it's time for us to head back and see if we can pick up the bear. This bear is not showing up, so we'll try the other bear. Okay, let's dump our bad tools.
I'm not gonna be able to carry this load for much longer.
Day 40, only 10 days left in this challenge, and we have not broken 500. Looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be, well, it's going to be relaxing, but it's also, I have two different things I'm going to. So I have like a lunch get together with some friends, and then I have a dinner party I'm going to. What is up, folks? What is up?
Did I say I hate being cold? Because I really do.
Uh-oh. We went somewhere. Ugh. Dumb. Must. Oh, there's the bear. Where is he going?
Oh, I've never been so hungry in my life.
Got him. Oh, it's coming closer. Hello, Mr. Bear.
All I can think about is food.
I have a baked potato. Where is he at?
I could eat anything right now.
Finally. Okay, that's about time. I set an update here. So let's see, we now have 5. Puts us at, and we're on day 40. And we have 25 more, so that should put it 43.
If I can drop any of this gear. Damn it. I'm so hungry.
So that's 130, 142, 143, 243, sorry, 243.
With this much gear.
Oh, let's see. I mean, it's been pretty productive, even if we haven't had a lot of people in the stream. Friday nights are always a tough night to stream, I think. But I'm not really available tomorrow night, so gotta make do.
Come on, little fire.
I mean, we're pretty productive tonight. I killed 2 bears and a wolf. Yeah, some streams were really not that great. You know, got maybe 1 or 2 wolves. But tonight was good. 55 points. So far. And hopefully pick up some more wolves on the way out of here.
1
I think one of the biggest challenges I'm going to run into, well, I don't know if it's the biggest challenge. One of the challenges I'm running into with the sudden change in my move out timeline, I had originally thought I would be here until March, but a lot of things are kind of stacking up so that moving out at the end of January is the best option, which means that the D&D campaign that I thought I had 3 months to wrap up now has to wrap up in, effectively, because I'm gone most of this month, has to wrap up in 3 weeks. So like, we will wrap up in the first part of January. We may have to do multiple sessions a week. That's one option we have. So I'm playing around. We'll see it works, but hopefully we'll be able to get that some sort of closure on the campaign. You know, and I just introduced 3 different plot directions they could have gone. Now we're busily trying to figure out how to consolidate, and I think there will be at least one thread that will just not get resolved. But I could turn it into the means by which the campaign comes to an unexpected turn. There's another player in the group who's willing to pick up the campaign, but possibly pick up the characters and move them to a new setting. So, like, if I provide some sort of reason why they get transferred to another plane, and it's perfectly, within keeping of other things that have happened in previous campaigns. So I think the group would not be surprised. I just have to have it not feel like a repeat of the last one. I did get one of the players to confess to me that our last session was probably the most terrifying session he's been in. And there was no actual combat. It was just the fact that they had decided that they would they had heard about, one of the factions they had heard about was a mysterious elven noble lady who was a sole survivor of some sort of massacre. Rumors about her family being tied up in some sort of bizarre cult or practice. Anyway, she'd been the only survivor of some sort of attack on their mansion. And then, for many years later, even for an elf, she did not seem to age. And so there were rumors that she was perhaps a vampire. And so the party decided that they would try to enlist her help or get some sort of assistance. And, they went in and they quickly realized they were way out of their depth. Completely out of their depth. There was a combat, sorry. There was a combat. They entered through the gates, which were, of course, under a number of enchantments, some of which terrified some party members that failed their saves, and then they got inside, only to discover that there was like a pack of undead wolves led by a death wolf. And then off in the distance, they could see like a strange casket atop of an overgrown hill, in a clearing not far away. And this casket would like shift and move sometimes, as if there was something alive in it. And so they're nowhere near it, but they see it off in the distance. And one of the party is an owlin, is an owl folk creature character. Anyways, so like small creature, like owl-ish, has owl features, has wings, flies over and tries to do some reconnaissance and sees that the casket has suddenly been sundered, like something has burst out of it. And there's a stream of like crawling hands, skeletal hands that just pours out in this like wave of hundreds, maybe thousands of them. And then they also see that the mound is beginning to, well, there's just an eerie sense of the mound, even though they're moving away from it, the mound seems to be drawing closer to them, slowly. And so they thought the problem was going to be with the wolves. And it was, because of tactics, an interesting, combat that they had to play out. But then there was this epiphany moment when they realized that the mound was none other than a undead shambling mound seeking after them, which moves slower than they do. So they hurriedly move towards the mansion, and then very rudely trying to get access, only to be intercepted by the butler, who is also a vampire, and a much lesser vampire than the mistress. And so anyways, they were sufficiently terrorized by a number of things. It didn't seem like much, but a lot of it's just ambiance and just like the sense of like they're not, everywhere they go, every door they pass through, every gate they pass through, after they pass through it, they notice very faintly that they're all covered in runes. Everything has been prepared, with some sort of enchantment, some sort of trigger that's waiting to be set off. And they're gathered into this entry hall, at some distance from all the exits. In what they look down at is another magic circle of runes. And it's clear that it'd be difficult to get out quickly. And then they notice there are shadows within the shadows, like undead shadows lurking in the shadows at the doors. And they realize, wow, we're really trapped. And then the mistress finally shows up. And the room itself is calculated to be like 40 feet tall, with these grand portraits of the mistress in different ages, and then also mostly staying the same age, and then her parents who were brutally killed. There are portraits of her parents there as well, and they're all towering portraits, gigantic portraits. Everything exudes a sense of power and grandeur and control. Everything is under her control. And at this point, one of the party has started to realize that the strange magical textbook that they had described in their backstory as acquiring, that was filled with notes, very, very interesting notes, but not only notes in the margins, it was magical and would fill in with additional notes, as if some sort of a tutorial, some sort of training was happening here, where the whoever created this had created something really powerful meant to train another magic user. And the character realizes the handwriting in the book is the same handwriting as all the runes in the house. Crap. I have a book that is probably stolen from her. And she has already expressed great anger, constrained, but definitely dangerous anger, about sort of their return of an amulet that they had found on a bandit, that clearly belonged to her. And she was very upset because it had a very particular use within their organization. And the fact that it ended up with a bandit had definitely demonstrated that there was a betrayal here, that someone had broken trust. So she was very angry about that. And the character realizes oh crap, if she ever figures out I'm carrying something that's hers that I do not have rightful possession of, I am so dead. I'm not ready to deal with a high level vampire. Yeah. Okay. So we are pretty beat up here. We have too much water again. We should go upstairs. Anyways, that's been kind of fun. But yeah, the player was like definitely concerned about the fact that they were in unlawful possession of something extremely likely to belong to the vampire mistress. But anyways, they were ultimately successful in their efforts to broker some sort of alliance, but it really feels more like they're now her errand runners who are able to go out in the daylight to take care of some matters that she has not been able to keep tabs on effectively. But yeah, they're trying to set up between the three different factions, there's a cult who are determined to they're trying to wake a sleeping aboleth. And then you have the vampire and her entourage, who are simply concerned about maintaining a peaceful, domain. She just wants to be left alone. But there are certain things she doesn't want to ignore the needs of the city, but she does not want people causing chaos and disorder either. So she is definitely putting pressure on the party to take care of some matters in the daylight, and especially to deal with the cult, which are basically, they've overtaken a temple from a disgraced group of religion that had fallen into disrepute, probably sabotaged from within by the cult, and so they want to confront these cultists in the temple, but because it's sacred ground, and because the cultists are exceptionally well hidden, at least the leader of the cult is, she has not been able to make any progress in dealing with them. So she wants the party to deal with them, to desecrate the temple, to destroy the ritual room that they're using to try to wake the aboleth, and otherwise like completely disrupt the cult to prevent it from growing any further. But the party's now realizing that perhaps one of the people in town that they've already met is the cult leader, when they start realizing what would this person need to be able to do, what kind of position would they need to have within the community in order to achieve their goals. Then they realize they've got two strong candidates and they're not certain which one. So yeah, so it's kind of fun to see how that plays out. Let's see. We're mostly rested, but not recovered. That's sad. Yeah, the third faction is a group of arcane engineers, magical engineers, who have built a underwater vessel, which is pretty much like the Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Jules Verne, that masquerades as a sea monster but destroys ships and is part of some sort of larger conspiracy. But the pieces of that conspiracy actually go beyond the likely end of this campaign, so I don't think they'll ever figure out the whole story around what's going on there. Okay, well, we're somewhat recovered. Not much, but a little bit. We are on day 41. We only have 9 days left on this challenge. So much to go. We need more torches. Probably should warm up some tea too. Okay, let's see what we got here. These are all terrible. Ooh. Okay, we're good on torches. Okay. Let's get ourselves ready for whatever is next. We make it to barn. Okay. Move along. Why was my desktop video off? Oh, that's not good. Game video was missing for a little bit. Now I get the scrunching of my boots. Okay, where are the wolves? I think we have the bear coming.
Oh, I'm starving. The cold is making my head feel thick.
No, there's a bear. No, that's the... got spooked by the target.
Too cold.
Okay, hey Derek. Yeah, we're getting ready to wrap up.
Too heavy to carry.
We got 2 bear and 1 moose. Oh, well, not 1 moose. 2 bear and 1 wolf, not a moose. Moose would be amazing. We didn't get the moose. We already did this. Missed the stem, but now we have it.
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
Okay, let's see. Getting kind of tired now, so I think we should wrap up. Yeah, so where are we at? We are on day 41. We've gotten to 243. I'm trying to break 250.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Okay. Okay, let's wrap up here. We will probably get a chance to stream. I'll have to check my schedule. Maybe Sunday. Most likely it's going to be Monday. We'll see. Okay. So let's do a little poetry reading and wrap up for the evening. Okay, poem from a friend. Oh, I haven't read anything from Lee for a while. This is from Lee Herrick's Star and Flower. Published by Word Poetry. Yeah. Okay. 2019. Okay. This is entitled Pigeon. It was regal and arrogant, so pronounced and bright, the rain so clean, then the storm, then the death. I thought of the pigeons in Peru in late winter, when everything began to fail, even my ability to watch the birds. But this California pigeon, a moon queen, July storm, it rubbed its gray head against the wet window, put its head down as if to surrender, as if to say, if the lightning comes and I am nowhere near shelter, I will remember what electricity conducts, enough voltage to kill a man or woman dead on the spot. It threw back its head and took the lightning that I did not see, though I heard the thing spit out a last breath, and I sat in my chair and watched the whole death go down, the life gone quiet, just like that. Pigeon. Wow, that was kind of a strange witness of the death of a pigeon. Put that one there. Okay. And let's see what else we got here. Double. Okay, we can read that. This is from Babbage's Dream. Published by Sundress Publications in 2017. This is my second book. And revolves around the history of computers. Charles Babbage, Modern Programming Spaces, Programming Languages. Double. Our faces pressed to the screen, the dull beat of numbers, day after day, the turn of the mechanical crank. The machine itself, another conundrum, a simulacrum formed of clay and metal, a dumb creature of no will but our own. How it sings into the dimmest hours of night, a silence as resonant as the wail of a distant train that only you can hear, your ears keen to the sound. Outside our windows, the moon is a crucible of light, the air full of strange awakenings, the first stirrings of a thing reaching for a name. The veil between us, thin as a mirrored shield. In the glass, a shadow, a twin. At this hour, who can tell the difference between one face and another? Thing and thing maker, we are what we are, the two of us pulling together to form a single passage through the dark. The stars above us spilling over with their old stories of light and nothingness. Whatever we had to say to the mind within is gone now, turned into a gesture, a little ghost, a secret we share like blood, or a cancer that passes unnoticed until it writes the body anew. So there's a lot of stuff going on in this poem. Obviously, double, kind of evokes the idea of a double or a doppelganger. And, I was thinking about how, for computer programmers working on things, writing code for games or creating something, we're really face to face. The monitor is kind of a mirror, and the thing we're creating is also a reflection of ourselves and what we think we understand. And so there is kind of the thing and thing maker tie. I think I've talked about before, like Babbage's obsession with trains and how he had trained his ear to hear the sound of a distant train. He could hear it for like long before anyone else at the station could hear it. And so that's kind of a reference to that. But there's also like references to that a New Testament, verse about I think it's from Paul that says like, "Now I see through a glass darkly, but soon I will see face to face." And basically, that glass is both a mirror and a veil. And then there's also this reference to mirrored shield, which is kind of Perseus fighting off Medusa. And so another sort of reference to mirrors and reflections and protection. But at the end, it basically kind of, instead of seeing this as antagonistic between the programmer and the machine and the code, the thing they're trying to build, it is instead like two people rowing together, trying to get to the opposite shore. So, yeah, so that's a little behind the scenes on Double. Let's figure out who we can go raid. And we will be done for the night. Really don't know who's up tonight. Come on, guys. Where's our TLD folk? Thorgrim? Do I know anyone else here? Oh, PETA's trying tournament right now. Okay, we'll pop in on PETA. PETA's been around, is an excellent streamer, excellent player of the Long Dark. But yes, thanks for hanging out. We'll be hanging out here shortly.